Around 20, the holds and the sells, and there's a lot of big percentage guys moving out of sides. Dylan Lucas, Hugo Savala makes sense. Pappenhausen, Katonga, all over 2%, with Savala and Lucas 6 and 10.5 there. Couchman still being held. He's finally being sold. Makes sense, actually, because people ran out of trades early. Metcalf, King Tonga, all above the 1% mark. Before we get there, I actually want to talk about Taua, Obla's Taua from the Dolphins. It's just another cash out option because he's actually maintained his spot in this starting side, and that's 3 weeks in a row, which is actually pretty fun. And at 259k is still a decent cash down, type of price point there, which is great. The thing I was just thinking of, which slowed me down there, was that he's a center, and if you've got Herbie as well, you've got both on the bye next week, so you're more. Yeah, you can loop one of you guys in the center, but the other guys will just have to be looped on the bench. With him there, he's gone 35 and 39 minutes, which is really good, and they're down middle's bad. 27 and 34 points for his last 2 games. No attacking stats as yet. 33 tackles for no misses on the weekend, and he's only missed the 2 there. So he's 24.3 average of tackles for 0.7 on the misses. So he's a pretty sneaky little cash down option just for those that were looking at one and didn't want to go for a De Silva and you preferred like a center. Then he potentially could work well. We'll see what happens post bye when they got the odd guy to come back, but a lot of their middles and edges, Gilberts and Plass, these types of guys, Saifidi, all guys that are missing long term as well, which is tough. So there you go. There's one for that. But we're into the holds and the sells, and Jazz Savanga comes into it at 525k. The reason he is a sell, guys, is because he's not a keeper or is a fringe keeper. What we're looking at with these types of players is you want them to be averaging somewhere near the 50 mark, and then you can hold them. With Jazzy Boy there, the great position for him was at lock, and when he played that, he averaged 48.8 in 67 minutes. Now, since he's been, he said the one game off the interchange, 31 points for him, but at hooker, it's a 46-minute average, but let's just go above that just to make it a little bit nicer for him. It's a 53 average for minutes for 35 points. So he just doesn't score well enough there, and he's going to potentially bleed a little bit of cash here and be frustrating for sides. And a 525k is a really good price point to go up or down. It's in that mid-range, which is awesome at this time of year to use as a trade. Not awesome to hold. Damien Cook is 609. Now this one's a little bit tougher, unfortunately, for Damien there as he goes off my screen. With this price point, it's great for selling as well, but the problem that you're going to run into with him is just his consistency if you are looking to hold. Now, he went for 80 minutes a couple of weeks ago. The 2 before that, he was 56 and 50, and he actually managed to score really well with that try, and then the 50 in getting that line break and good run meters. But there are going to be lots of games here that you saw earlier on the year, high 30s, mid 30s, 45, 37, 43, where they're the types of scores for the most part that you'll get out of him, and you'll get the odd score where he happens to do really well. So the last 2 weeks, 47 and 38, are somewhat in your normal expectations, and for someone at 609k priced at that 45, we're looking at guys like Tino, like Crichton this week that are this price point, and we're expecting them to be 50 plus very, very easily. Whereas it feels like Damien Cook will be somewhere between 42 and 50, which just is okay. And, he's going to sit at like that 16th, 17th man for you in most weeks, when Cleary and Yo are back there. You're going to have a decent score or two on your 18, 19, and Cook's going to sit somewhere in that low mark there. So if you need to sell someone, then Damien Cook is an easy play to do so. But with those scores that he's thrown out there, he's not very quickly going to go down in price or anything like that. So it's a very easy time at the moment in round 20 to just sit on these guys if you don't have a very, very clear option to sell to. And you could use him next week as a sell target to the Yos, or to, if you want to upgrade to Tino or Crichton, and it looks like things aren't working too well for Cook again. And just gives you opportunities to see what happens in the landscape and injuries come up and all this kind of stuff. And then, if Aaron Clark was to go down, then you just have Damien Cook as your hooker replacement and you don't have to use a trade for it. So there's a few different reasons why you could hold or sell. Fatanoa-Blake, just a bit of a tough one for him. Like if he came out and scored 50, I think people would be fairly happy with the output in recent history, but it's because he's gone 47 and 33, the last two. What I think you need to look at, guys, is the minutes that he's been provided with. And now it's a 55 overall, but the minutes that he has been getting up until last week, he was going to play about 54 to 56 there before the knee knock, and then he had his condolences to him and his family for the loss that they had. But before that, he was averaging, he's hitting 58 minutes, 65, 67, 64, and then 59, 67. So he really pushed into some great minutes there. And then when he had a few issues injury-wise earlier on in the season, at like round 6, 7, he went to 42 and 43 minutes as well. So when he's fit and firing, which for the most part he should be, and it's a very important part of the season as well, they need to get wins. If we can expect him to play minutes over the 50 mark, I think that we're going to see some good scores out of him. You see there when he hits 60 minutes, he's averaging 61, which is an absolute hold every day of the week. I personally expect him to go closer to these minutes and therefore be a easy hold at the moment. For someone like this is the different to the ones we just spoke about with Damien Cook. We're going to talk about Garrick, Drinkwater, all these types of guys that you're kind of hoping that they average 50, whereas this guy's above that in a position where you're going to carry 4 or 5 anyway. So I think he's a very easy hold if you are going to upgrade. Similar to the Tarponi situation, Taps has some minutes worries. Fatanoa-Blake does not. Let's go straight to Tarponi now. So with him, he's priced at 50, right? If he goes out and scores a 50 this week, he's going to lose a fair bit of cash. And he'll be priced under that. And in what world is Tapine a high 40s guy? He's not. So even if he was to lose, you hold this week, which I'm probably going to do myself now that I have, I moved Yongi on instead of Taps. If that's the case and he drops this week and he plays 50 minutes. So he kind of goes point a minute 50. You look at that and you go, well, what's the likelihood of him going above 50 or at least a 50 average from here on in? Because at that price point, at 640 or whatever it's going to be, he is very much closer to it being a purchase. And the guys that they're coming up against in the next few weeks, none of them are really tough forward packs. So he could definitely do well. He can get offloads. He can get attacking stats, and there's going to be the odd game there. Even in lower minutes, he picked up 69 with a try, and then earlier on he could get 64 in 56 minutes, 67 in 53. There's different ways that he can do it. Thankfully, we don't need 60 minutes from him, and we haven't in previous years. He's always been a really, really nice PPM guy. If you look at 2024, he was a 1 PPM. This year, he's at 1.12, so he doesn't actually need it. I just think the thing is, if you were to hold this week, he scores 50, then he's cheaper, then at that price point, he's almost a buy. So, I think at this point, you either sell him this week if you feel like you need to get to one of the guns, or it's like, well, I need to sell one of my mids to get Yo and to get Cleary, and I've got get Yo and get Haas, and I've got a fair few trades left, and then all that can really work out. But overall, I think that he's more on the hold side for me. Duncan's going to be an interesting one. So his break even is very reasonable because he's coming off a few really good games. So he's got a 58, a 72, a 51, 96, and a 55 with 5 tries in the last 4 weeks, which is crazy. So sitting there priced at 50 with that 5-round average rolling there, it's a really good one, and therefore I think he'll get to 700. The worry this week is that if he doesn't get any attacking stats, how's he actually going to go at centre? Can he make a few more tackles than 8 last week? And can he keep up some type of attacking stats in tackle breaks, the odd offload? Maybe a line break in there could be ideal. Or can he score tries again? So I think for Dallas Duncan, if he's named in centres next week, he's a sell. For this week, it's just a 1-week watch. Likely goes up cash again. And he's on notice. Dallas Duncan. For Dylan Lucas, a very clear sell. 689k, guys. Just use him to whichever position you want. Guys like Bo Fermor, a very easy straight swap. Or you can go to any other position and use his cash wisely. So thank you, Lucas, for your service. It's been a great year for you. Averaging 57. But the couple of injuries have been hurtful. Kitione Katonga looks like he'll be out for a while now, so he'll be a sell, a little bit too long to hold, and he's not a keeper. So again, a very, very juicy price to move on from at 572. And check out the Best Buys video, guys. Timestamps, all the good stuff in there. So go and check that out for players that you might want to use his cash at 572 to get to. Thank you for your service as well, Kitione, for those that have held on. Now, you and Aiken. Unless there's a later swap with Duncan to the centres, it looks like he's going to, he's got that spot now, and he's got Jacob Host next to him. So I think very unlikely that Aiken will be moved out of that spot, given looks like they need at least someone there. And it looks like Duncan's the guy that might be a little bit more agile at a younger age that they're going to throw out into the centres right now. And he scored 2 tries last week too. So Aiken priced at 47 seems like a very clear hold in the second row position. We know what he can do there, and this is the reason we bought him. The worry was going to be that moving out to centres would be the tough spot there. So even with injury games and stuff, it's a 51.6 average in 76 minutes. So we know Aiken could be a 50 to 55 guy, and these types of players, I think you need to think very carefully about selling, because they have that potential for being a gun. And if they have that, it's very hard to sell them if they can average over 50 in a situation where you're sitting at maybe 1 or 1.1, 1.2 trades per week for the hit to the run home. Jackie Bird, hey? So we ended up with him coming off the bench for 37 minutes and a 20. At 342k, he's still in a position where he kind of doesn't help you at all. And if you can get up to 150k to Tanner Boyd or these types of moves there, if you can go 200k up to Dylan Edwards, those types of moves can be very helpful for your side. And a 342k going down feels a little bit gross, and therefore you should probably just hold on to Jack Bird at this point. But if you did buy it, it's been a frustrating little few weeks there. I almost jumped on. Thankfully, did my trades the right way, but there's a few people that didn't, and that's who I'm talking to and making those calls for you guys. Now, Hugo Savala, if you don't have any loopers this week, I think he's a very easy hold for that. But in general, he's done his job. He's hit a 599k. He got 41 on the weekend, 1 goal, 1 try assist. So still good kick meters. They lost Walker for 10 minutes as well. So he won't get the goals, those types of things anymore. And will probably be close to a 40 type guy from here. Priced at 45. He's done his job. You can move on. King Tonga, 379k. He's kind of gone up as far as we think he will now. 21 and 26, the last two. Similar situation to Bird, basically. Although we know King Tonga can hit 30s. He's playing 80 minutes rather than Bird, lower minutes off the bench. So for Lycan, a safer guy to have in your side. You don't want to play week to week. Even looping wise, it's like, his highest scores, he got a 47 his first game. He's got a 46 and a 43. All of those games were really, really high level for him. So are you even going to take the majority of the scores? And the answer is no, really, unless 47 you might be happy with in a certain week. But yeah, he's someone that I think you can easily sell. But at that price point as well, he's sitting in my team right now. Will he go down to a cheapie? That's probably the way I'll look at it, but he can go up as well to some of the other players that I mentioned just before. Jackson Purdue, 386k. We know he has upside in him. We didn't see it at all on the weekend as well. Playing in 5/8 position, there will be some games where he can do well, but unfortunately at 5/8 he's had one really good game, and it was against the Tigers, and the rest have been 20s and 30s. So you can also sell him. You just know that he has a little bit more upside than that of King Tonga, and I would sell King Tonga before Purdue at this point. Tarponi, 424k. He's kind of done a job, let's just say. 2025, there you go. Some low scores in there in interchange games in 24, but a 22 on the weekend just shows what can happen if he doesn't score a try. So he still end up with 1 line break and 3 tackle breaks, but they have the bye this week, and you can use him as a looper. You can also sell him. I think at 424k, as I said, you go up 120 and get Edwards. You can go up 180 to get 190 to get Crichton and Tino and these types of guys, or you can go him down to one of those cheapies and bank sort of 180, 190k. So a really good spot there at 420 odd to help you out. Nathan Lawson at 268. He's in a spot there where you're probably just sitting him as that cheapie right now. He's not helping you, but neither are really any of the 260, 250k type players. So I think you just hold on at this point. It doesn't hurt or hinder, apart from no cash gains. But probably past that now with these types of cash down guys. Most of them aren't going to make too much cabbage. And then Pappenhausen, sounds like he's could be week to week. He's going to have to manage that calf injury. Don't actually know which calf it is. We should he's been spitting facts on his podcast about it. So check out the NRL Physio broadcast channel on Instagram, and he's got the clips up there on that one. I haven't been able to delve into him yet. Just want to get this video out, but it looks like he will be a sell. Similar boat to the guys, Garrick and the rest, but with him carrying an injury, he's not a 50 guy at the moment. And there are other guys that are well ahead of that. You think of, the next level, the next tier of guys that are up and down as well. Karaz, Nwangani Tawaze, these types of guys. And then you've got, 30k above. You can get Campbell, who we know is going to be like a mid to late 50s, most likely, especially against the Tigers this week. And then you've got Latrell and these types of guys, Teddy, all the rest above that. So Pap's in a bit of a tier below, as much as I love him. And similar to that with Drinkwater, but we know he has the upside. The good thing with Drinky right now is he plays the Finns this week, who will be, a fun enough clash. And then it's the Dragons. He also has Parramatta. He has Tigers in this little run. He's got Broncos, Newcastle, and Cronulla as well. So the run home for the Cows isn't that bad. And you can use him as a looper this week, which is cool, given he plays game one. If you've got 1 or 2 outs, then you chuck him in like a 5 or a 6 and go from there. 555, still really not like cheap price points. It's not like he's gotten to a good level and then he's starting to play really poor. It's just been average for a little while now. But when we say average, he still went 61 and 62 the 2 games before. In easier games for him. But you can tell there. These kind of guys are happy to hold because he has 60s and 70s in his game. And there's upside there. And then you've got Garrick as well at 598. It's hard to sort of decipher between the two. Garrick has been scoring really well. He's averaging like 50 in his last 4, which is awesome. He's picked up 3 tries since moving to the wing, a few goals there, a couple of line breaks in each of them. And he's got turbo sweeping to that side, which is great. For Melbourne, their outside backs on his side this week aren't going to be anything special. Meaney's out back. They're going to have Grant Henderson and Kane Bradley on that side. So it's a bit different than going up against, Coates and Howarth and these types of guys there. When we're looking at this run, though, it is Melbourne into Dogs, into Roosters, into Canberra. So it's not perfect. If there's a guy to upgrade, it probably is, if you've got cover, it's probably Garrick over Drinkwater at 50k more. You can do a little bit more with that. And him on the wing, unless he's scoring tries, which has happened the last few, but there'll be weeks where it doesn't. I think there's going to be the odd week where he goes, 29 and 30 and probably has a little less upside than if he's making 20 odd tackles, 150 meters and has chances for assists and then tries as well. So it's an interesting one. They're both very close. Garrick is close to a 50 plus keeper, which is great. And that number that we're talking about, but they're just under it. And that's where, you're not super confident every week playing them and therefore can be used as a clear upside or upgrade target type of thing. But I really don't think you want to be trading these types of guys if you're at 8 or if you're using 3 or 4 this week to then upgrade him next week. Those kind of things is like, well, why are we trading out warm bodies that are averaging near 50? That's the big question there. So there you go, guys. That's the holds and the sells for round 20. Let me know what you're deciding with these guys. If you're holding anyone that's injured as a looper, if you're deciding after a game or 2, see how things go and then make your decisions from there. Will be cool to hear in the comments as well. Remember, guys, I don't always reply, but I am listening and watching. And if I can really help you out, or if it's something different to what I haven't answered on videos, then I'll jump in and communicate with you. So thanks so much, guys, for that one. If you are interested in one-to-one help, please consider joining the private group. Information is down below there. Pay the cash. Send me the email. You'll be in straight away. Get the one-on-one help from me regarding your side, and then help from all the other legends in the community, and just a fun time at this point of the season for the last 8 rounds. Enjoy, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.